I think it's a really nice metaphor for marriage because you do really need to put your life in your partner's hand in all situations. And so I think they're both really lonely people who are just looking for companionship and someone to get through the really tough days with. And these are really tough days.
Look, I knew I was going to like this show, but I love this show. It is fantastic. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the relationship between John and Jane, I feel like is a little therapeutic for me because there's relationship things I go through, and seeing how they work things out is very similar. I feel like in a lot of ways of how my relationship plays out. Francesca, you and Donald created the show together, but you wrote Atlanta before this. How has your creative process evolved through Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
That's a great question. I mean, I think what I learned from Atlanta is sort of just keeping it very real and pulling from our own lives and kind of laughing at ourselves and taking the nittiest and grittiest moments and kind of making fun of ourselves through that is something that we maintained and brought to this show, which I think made it special. But I think definitely like the scope was massive and just sort of wrangling the scope of it all and kind of embracing how big it was really a challenge, but also very, very exciting too.
Maya, I love the chemistry between you and Donald. The arguments feel so genuine and real and lived in. What would you say these characters really need from each other that draws them into such a dangerous world together?
Well, it's so interesting because they are spies and they need to really trust each other. They have each other's lives in their hands. And in order to do this job successfully, and I think it's a really nice metaphor for marriage because you do really need to put your life in your partner's hand in all situations. And so I think they're both really lonely people who are just looking for companionship and someone to get through the really tough days with. And these are really tough days in the show. So
That's true.
Now, Francesca, I love how the series plays on the expectations that viewer may have from the 2005 film. Which elements from the movie did you want to expand on? And can this show live in that universe as well?
I think it does in some ways, in a very loose way. It does live in that universe. You know, we tried to sort of make it feel like some little Easter eggs about when they meet certain other characters is like when the film came out, things like that. There are moments in the film during a car chase scene where Angelina says to Brad that her father was an actor during the wedding, and they're sort of like admitting all of these truths that they didn't know about once they're finally bonded again. And I thought to myself, like, that's the sweet spot. There's something kind of genius there, that and the couples therapy and all of those things. Anything that felt funny but very real was sort of the lane that we wanted to really lean into.
Absolutely. Now, Maya, can you tease about John and Jane's relationships as we see it progress through season 1?
I don't know if I'm going to do it justice because I haven't seen it all yet. But from what I remember, you're really watching the trajectory of a whole relationship. So you start with the first date, second date, the first time you go on vacation together. Am I allowed to say all these things? Am I going to give away anything? Okay. And you see them fall in love the first time they have sex, the first argument. It's really watching all of those first, but against this massive spy backdrop.
Absolutely.
You did great. That's exactly. It hasn't changed.
Okay, good.
It's a different show.
I know. Wait, am I in it?
No, that was great.
Look, this is the perfect show for couples to watch together. I feel like they're going to get so much out of this, but I absolutely love it. Thank you guys so much for your time. It's an incredible ride.
I'm so glad you like it.
I loved it. I loved it. It's amazing.
Yes.
So
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.